famous Sean O'Connor from Doolin, Fisher Street, Doolin, County Clare, from the world famous O'Connor's pub and latterly the beautiful Doll's Cottage. You're very welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Eugene. Thanks a million. You know, it's great. It's great to have a chat. Great to share the time and the kind of a bit of enthusiasm, you know.
How are you under the lockdown in Doolin, County Clare?
Well, it's kind of bizarre. Like for me, having grown up in the pub, driving by, walking by the pub, and there's no car outside the door. There's nothing happening, and it's not Good Friday. Do you know what I mean? Right now, it's like what I grew up in and you grew up in the 60s. There's loads of time chatting over the wall. There's no one in any hurry. There's no rush.
I think it might be fair to say that nobody was ever really much of a hurry down around there anyway.
Well, no, but they found a new low gear. People are really taking care of each other.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the other thing. Not only have they time, but they're taking care of each other and they're making sure everyone is doing okay. And, you know, if you make a batch of something, you go around and give a dart of stuff to people and that kind of thing. You know, I think that's great. It's like back in the day when they killed the pig. You know, everyone got a lump out of it. You know what I mean?
I'm finding myself that I'm at home at night time and my wife said, okay, we're not going to drink Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we'll have a couple on Friday and Saturday night, and then we'll straighten ourselves out again on Sunday night. So last Thursday night I cooked, and wouldn't be a great cook now like you, but I'd manage away. But and then I produced a lovely bottle of wine. She said, Eugene, this is only Thursday night. I know, I said, but I said, I actually started last night, so I said, I just want a bit of a cure tonight in the corner.
Well, I'll tell you, my attitude is if I feel like a glass of wine, I'm going to open a bottle of wine. I've wine sitting, Eve said, oh, you've all that wine inside in one of the rooms there, you know, that you brought back from France. This is 3 years ago. I said to her, that's for the emergency. There's a fucking lockdown. When you can't go anywhere, we'll be fucking quids in.
Sean, you remember when people started coming to Doolin and all of the characters and all of the visitors and your mum and dad and all of that. Can you give us, Sean, what it was like when people started coming to the Doolin and to O'Connor's pub and the cavers and musicians, etc.?
There was a fla in Listoon in 57 or 58, I think. But they were coming anyway, you know, the Seamus Ennises and all the legends, right? They all knew about Doolin because Doolin was always kind of, you know, a big centre. Every house had an instrument and they couldn't play, they'd be able to sing, or everyone had or tell a story or something. So everyone had a kind of a social contribution. When the cavers discovered it, I mean, they're all mates of mine. I mean, that's how I got into caving, was these guys coming in the 60s and 70s. And then people like Seamus McGrath and Michael Cody came up, found the place by pure accident. And Michael Cody found it first. And I was only talking to him last week. He's 80 now. He was saying he brought Seamus up and they had a Hillman in, right? Do you remember them little yokes?
Yes, yeah.
Little toy of a car.
All the way from Carrick-on-Shore.
All the way from Carrick-on-Shore in not a great car and bad roads, right? Seamus McGrath was so wound up about, he didn't know what to expect, he said. He told me this years later. He said, I turned to Michael and he said, you know, my fear, he said, Michael, is that place won't be there when we get back the next time. He thought it was kind of like High Brazil. Do you remember that famous story?
Yeah.
You'd see it or you'd experience it and that you'd be one of the lucky ones. But then you'd accidental tourists. You'd people who just fell in. Some of the stories from your brother, Sean. Sean was incredibly stoic, you know, and very quiet and, you know, kind of calm, but he deadly for the story. The people are what made it, but the landscape is totally unique, above and below ground.